Live from Cool Boys Central.
You're the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
From bat tips to bat nips, we are just cool boys revisiting Batman, the animated series, and wearing hats. This is Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
I see Batman and Beyond.
How's it going?
Greetings, Schoolboy Nation, and welcome to another installment of Batman and Beyond, a Cool Boys podcast.
What?
I'm Ballard.
And I'm Steve.
So
cool.
No, you're supposed to say, I'm directing you again.
I'm throwing a power move, and...
Woo! Do you like saying so cool? Is that what it is?
I don't know if I like saying,
You love it. It's your favorite.
Is it? I don't get it.
God. It's your favorite now. Well, Cool Boy Nation, I just want to say, see, we're back 1 week later. No months off this time.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, we're going to be back for a while now, because
What are you eating on air? Is that what you're doing right now? You know, you chastised me for when I ate on air, and now you go about doing it.
Have you not figured this out yet? I can't do no wrong.
I feel it feels like that, and I if I could write to HR and like make a complaint,
don't you fucking dare!
I'm going to, because
don't you dare!
Like,
well, Steve, I would really appreciate it if you didn't actually email HR and instead just bring your complaints to me. We can just talk about them, and I'll handle it.
Well, I did right now, or I am all the fucking time, and you don't fucking listen. And now you have me,
Steve, there is a difference between complaining.
Air.
Steve, there's a difference between complaining and just bitching all the time.
Oh, shit. Okay? Well, you know what?
And that's what this is.
No, it's not.
You're just bitching all the fucking time.
No.
Now you've got me swearing. I never swear.
I'm just going to speak over
I
you
never swear.
now more often. That's what I've decided.
Johnny?
Because you speak over me so much. And then
Johnny,
you get mad.
will you handle this, please? Will you handle him? This is not cool. I can't do an episode like this.
Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world.
Well, can you guess who did the previously on Batman this time? Give me a guess.
We're not there yet.
Give me a guess.
We'll get there, Steve. Don't worry.
See, that's
so cool. Tonight's episode is The Demon's Quest, Part 2, directed by Kevin Altieri, and story by Denny O'Neil and Len Wein, but teleplay by Len Wein. This episode came out the following day, May 4th, 1993, and the villain continues to be Ra's al Ghul. Not Ra's al Ghul, right, Steve?
Ra's. So what sort of chemicals do you think are in a Lazarus pit? I want to know. I always kind of felt like it was a health spa, like one of those mud pits.
No, it's like it's Lazarus, whatever Lazarus is.
Well, Lazarus is just like the name of the person that came back from the dead. Isn't that like... There's not...
No.
No what? No. What do you mean, man? Because I don't think there are real Lazarus. Did you think that? Is that what you're telling me right now?
When I was 11 or today?
Right now. I'm talking to you in this person. Right now. When you responded, when I said, what do you think is in a Lazarus pit? When I asked you, what's in a Lazarus pit? And you're like, Lazarus? Obviously.
Yeah, Lazarus.
What the fuck is Lazarus?
No.
So that's your serious answer?
No.
No, you're...
What do you care? Are you Lazarus police all of a sudden?
What?
What's going on? See? This is what I was talking about. You just bitching all the time. You're just bitching and bitching.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation about what sort of chemicals...
I can't even get through the Wikipedia because you want to have a serious conversation about Lazarus pits in the middle of the Wikipedia read. Wikipedia says... After freeing Talia from her father's clutches and escaping from an avalanche, Batman and Robin follow the only clue they have, the word Orpheus. Maybe Lazarus pits are full of Orpheus. After discovering that Orpheus is Ra's private satellite, Ra's private satellite that will orbit over the Sahara, the duo travel to the demon's desert stronghold. There, Batman learns that the satellite is actually a weapon, which will explosively destroy all the Lazarus pits simultaneously throughout the world, destroying all the life that exists. Note, a direct adaptation of Daughter of the Demon from Batman, issue number 232, June 1971, and The Demon Lives Again, Batman, issue number 244, September 1972, both by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. Steve, who's the previously on Batman for this episode?
You're just jumping in right there and taking my thunder because I was trying to ask you. I hate you. Oh, man, I hate you.
I'm not taking your thunder. Go. Just do it. What's going on? Who is it?
I don't know. Oh, no, it was Batman, right?
Bruce. Yeah, it was Bruce's voice.
Batman.
First time in the whole series.
Is this
it's
the
been
first
Bruce.
time?
Yeah, it's usually Robin or Alfred, and then the very first time was like a random voice we never knew about. We were like, who's this voice? Selena Kyle, and then it was Alfred and Robin and a single rando in the very beginning.
Well, very exciting.
Yeah, and also we have our fourth animated title card for the Demon's Quest. Part 1 was our third, and The Laughing Fish was our second, and Heart of Ice was our first.
It's not really like an animated title card. More like they're just putting the credits on top of, the opening scene.
Yeah, it is exactly what it is. Which is even more like a movie, right?
Yeah, it's very cinematic. And it's just like they're coming back into this previous. It's a very cool opening where it's just like a different angle of watching Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, kind of like Lord of the Rings, huh? When you watch Gandalf fall from Frodo's perspective, but then in Two Towers you start off watching Gandalf fall from Gandalf's perspective.
Very similar.
That's kind of, you're right. Also interesting is that it's just like Heart of Steel, in which, thank God, they pick it up right away. It isn't one of those trickeries that they do sometimes with part 2s where, like, the beginning is actually like, hey, remember like 2 days ago when this happened? And you're like, oh, wait, we're going to have to build our way to this point again. Like, come on, we can't. They start there in this episode. They start right where we left off, just like Heart of Steel. Right where we left off. We don't jump a day all of a sudden and find out that, like, everything went down that day and figured it out through exposition. No, we're just going right back into it. But what's kind of a little off-putting, it doesn't really ruin the episode at all for me, but it's a little off-putting, is how we leave this scene as an episode break, as a part break, or from part 1 to part 2, and it's really intense, and it's just solved by Talia just slapping her dad across the face.
Yeah.
Like,
what? But it also is weird because he just throws her to Batman instead of him throwing her into the, it's like the whole cliffhanger is like he's gonna throw her into the Lazarus pit, and then he just like throws her to Batman's arms. Like, I don't know. It's one of those like fake outs, but I wasn't really too upset by it.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of. I guess it's just really weird. What feels false to me is that all that Ra's wanted was just Batman to marry Talia, and she's gorgeous and amazing. It seems like she's got like a great personality.
She's totally into him.
Probably really cool to like watch TV shows with. She's probably fun at being witty and commenting on things. You can watch like Bravo with her, and Batman looks at her and he's just like, no. It's like, fuck you, Bruce. Like, what do you got going on that you can't all of a sudden have a whole bunch? I mean, in The Dark Knight Returns, he has essentially an army by the end of it of Batman, right? And so it's kind of, you could have just sidestepped that whole process and waited 40 years, just done it now, had an army of Batman working for you, all these like ninjas, and they would have done whatever you did if you were like, we don't kill. They would just not kill anymore. I mean, he had a great deal.
Well, I think that he had to follow Ra's death and destruction.
That's not how it works, though, right? We know this. Wait, you take the office of the Demon Head, and then you just do your own shit once you're there. You just do whatever. We're doing things differently, actually. We're not going to do that whole thing where we blow up all the Lazarus pits. That's stupid. We're going to actually do this thing where we go to Gotham and Central City and Star City and Metropolis. And we're just going to help out Justice League. Like that's a smarter move.
Uh,
Take the infrastructure that they had put together and use it to save everyone.
I think you should like write a fan fiction.
I should, but my versions would probably have like Robin and Batman like having like passionate sex too.
So they're totally gay.
Fuck me, Batman.
No, I think they're maybe I think they're fluid.
Okay.
But it's just like one of those moments where like it was really insane like moment, and they like look each other in the eyes, and they just start kissing, and then slowly like a hand goes on the other side of a belt, and then like goes below into the underwear, and then starts playing with Ding Dong. So that we get another kind of Uncharted like moment in this episode. We just had one in last week's the Demon's Quest Part 1. This one is when I don't know what you call it, the
fortress
mountain?
or whatever.
Yeah, the fortress in the mountain. That the demon mountain fortress
self-destructs.
Yeah, it self-destructs, and then Robin and Batman have to run away from a collapsing mountain avalanche, get lost in a snowy mountain, and like work their way back to like actually like a city. And it's again very similar to like an Uncharted episode, but this one ends differently. This one ends with Wayne Enterprises Nepal.
It's so funny.
And Batman just walks in there with Robin and
Hey!
Bruce and Dick.
Like what? How do they explain it to them? Like, so I got lost, and
Yeah, do I have clothes in my office here?
At
Thanks.
a certain point, when did they take off their clothes? Their back clothes.
Yeah.
And, like, did they ditch him or something? Or there's a lot of questions you have for
Yeah,
how did they?
You can't be just Bruce Wayne and show up all of a sudden in your like top level, penthouse office suite and be like, "Oh, I was here. You didn't realize I was here." Yeah, oops. He has to go through the front door. He has to announce that he's there.
I would think so.
It would be odd. I also wonder why the fuck does Wayne Enterprises need a Nepal office?
Well, that's to do all their shady business.
Yeah, well, is Nepal known for shady? Is Nepal known for shady business?
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right.
You want to find? You have another country.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Besides that, you've
what? We call it Valverde. Just say Valverde, please.
Valverde.
That's easier. I don't want people to know where that is. I'm trying to keep that. Honestly, that's not really. Things have not really been so good with that actually recently, Steve. Kind of a little, kind of touchy subject. I have a lot of work I created for myself that I was not prepared because I thought it would be fun. I thought it was going to be exciting. I thought I was just going to get a lot of money. I thought it was going to be like the movies. And you just party all the time. And it's not that actually. It's actually really stressful. It's kind of scary. And I don't know what to do, all right? It's a lot harder to do import-exporting when you don't have that as a background.
I would think so.
So I didn't realize any of this shit.
You know what, man?
All right.
So you were like saying that you had all this money. Were you spending all this money on credit or something?
I spent a lot of it. I still have some.
Yeah.
I've been pulling it out of most of my accounts, actually.
Yeah.
We really shouldn't be talking about this. I know we shouldn't be talking about this on air. I'm super uncomfortable talking about this on air. All right, I'm fucking in way over my head. That's all I know, dude. And
So, back to the show. We finally see Batman and Ubu fight. This has been long waited, for me at least.
Yeah, except Batman just beats the fuck out of Ubu.
Well, he deserves it.
Well, see, here's the thing. Every time Ubu hurt Batman in the last episode,
Batman gave him a 3 count.
He gave him a 3 count, and then Batman's like, "Fine, now I gotta kick your ass," and he immediately did it. I had no problem doing it, and he has no problems with beating Ubu now, and I love that. I love that Batman was like letting Ubu do it. He was letting Ubu get the best of him.
Yeah.
Only to keep up appearances, because as Batman told us last week, he knew.
He suspected from the beginning. He said, "How would he have known that they were kidnapped on the same night?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because he knows from the get-go then, huh?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, how would you know this information, Raish?
He was like, how would you know that Robin was kidnapped the same night as my daughter? Unless you were...
That's a pretty big fuck-up to, like, lead off with.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the classic, like, fuck-up where it was like, I didn't drink the Budweiser, and you're like, I didn't say what kind of beer it was.
Yeah.
Oh! You know? Whoa!
But you didn't pick up on it, and I didn't pick up on it.
What, last week?
Yeah.
I picked up on it last week. We talked all about it.
That he said, that wasn't one of the reasons why I knew that he was the kidnapper, because that he tells him about Robin and Talia being kidnapped at the same time. We didn't talk about that.
I did.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Roll the tape, Johnny. My favorite thing also is when Batman realizes from the get-go that Raish knew that Robin was actually kidnapped the same time that Talia was, and that's obviously.
Are you wait? Are you trying to edit this in or something and pull some bullshit? Shut the fuck up, man. Fuck you. I gotta keep this real when it's some bullshit. Jeez.
But yeah, just completely reconstruct everything for my own needs. All right.
But yeah, I thought that that was a cool one, and but yeah, we didn't. At least me, when I was watching it now, I didn't. That wasn't one of the reasons why I was like, oh yeah, he's obviously bad because of that. So it went by my head.
Yeah, no, yeah, it went past my head too, because it's like a real big throwaway line, like the first 5 minutes into it, yeah.
And that's the
but
thing.
It's important. It's clearly important. So
for sure,
pay attention. This Act 2 starts off like just legendary. Like it has like Lawrence of Arabia, like like analogies all over the place. Like it just hints to it or homages to it.
Yeah,
it's got
I think it. Yeah, definitely homages that
vast desert imagery, right? Like this like score, musical like motion picture score that sounds almost Lawrence of Arabia. Like it evokes that exact same emotional feel you get when you watch that film. By the way, I love Lawrence of Arabia. I think it's fucking awesome. It's one of my top 5 films ever, and I highly recommend it. It holds up for today. It's just squidless. I mean, that's really all it is. It's squibless. Squib. It's squibless. So a lot of people in white robes being shot and no blood. So it's kind of weird. That being said, it's really fantastic narrative. It's a 4-act structure. It has a prologue and an epilogue. The prologue is essentially an epilogue, so you don't wonder at all where the character goes. You know where the character's story goes and ends, and then you don't spend this whole movie you're about to watch wondering, is Lawrence gonna die? He doesn't, because you know how he dies. You see his end of his life. It's an incredible 4-act structure, and it's one of the few 4-act structures that I love. I find 4 acts really difficult, and it's very rare when it actually works for me. I think a 2-act structure is amazing, and I think if it's well done, that's like perfect storytelling. That's like Seinfeld, Curb, Your Enthusiasm. Those are all like very, very 2nd-act structured comedies. So yeah, I like those. Well, back to this show. We're in our 2nd act right now, and you have this moment where like Batman is overtaken right after he fights Ubu. And all these guards are on him. And every time Batman's about to die, all of a sudden you hear, like, Raish in the background, like, hold! And then they stop, and they stop about to kill Batman. And then he's like, actually, keep him alive. And then Batman's like, wait, you have to tell me your villain monologue. And he's like,
he wants
you're
him to
right,
be a
Batman.
witness.
I do have to tell you my villain monologue. And Raish just goes, but I've never seen a superhero like invoke the villain monologue from the fucking antagonist. It's like, wait, what? You're asking for this? Like, not because you're trying to like delay them. You're just asking for this just because you want to know. Mm-hmm. It's weird. He's like, just tell me. I got this close. Just tell me what's up. Like, what were you gonna do? I just want to know. I just need to know. It's odd, but then Raish does his fucking villain monologue, and I said this a few weeks ago, I think for Off Balance. I'll say it again. I was 11 years old watching this, and it is the very first time I hear a villain say shit about how he wants to destroy the world for the betterment of the world and mankind. And I was just like, I get it. I understand. And you got me. You got me. I think you're right, kind of. Like, and look where we are now in 2019. Kind of wish he did it. Because he only would have killed 2,056,986,000 people. Right? We're at 6+ billion now. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
You could have been one of those 2 billion that died, though.
fine. If I'm one
Fine?
of those third, if I'm one of the third that goes, then I see what happens in Avengers Endgame. They're just gonna fucking put my name up on a wall, and people forever will know that.
Spoiler alert.
Not for Endgame, but definitely spoiler alert for Infinity War. That there was a mass culling, if you will, a snapping.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
What do you know?
I don't agree with killing 2 billion people.
You don't agree with killing 2 billion people?
Yeah, I think I side with Batman on this one. That he's a murderer.
Did you not see the PowerPoint presentation Raish gave Batman? That I saw it. It looked great. Everything turned into a paradise afterwards. It was amazing.
That he controls.
A paradise. No, this is not Vandal Savage. No,
he wants to control it.
No. You're
Yes,
thinking
yes,
of Vandal
yes.
Savage.
No.
You're thinking of Vandal Savage.
Ra's al Ghul wants to be the leader of this new society.
He just wants to set it straight. He
Nope.
just wants to set it straight. He never says, and I want to lead it. He just says he wants to set it straight.
Nope, he wants to lead it.
You are inferring.
I'm just telling you for what I know, my knowledge of Ra's al Ghul, I guess.
Well, you are a lawyer. Steve is a lawyer, so maybe he has something here, folks. We just don't see.
Let me
He's
see here.
using his lawyer sensibilities. His lawyer sense is kicking in. My legal sense is tingling. I love how this fucking episode culminates into a giant explosive finale with the fortress ablazing, followed by this fucking swashbuckling sword fight between Raish and Bruce. And Bruce is topless this entire fucking act.
She's just showing off.
First of all, they take his shirt off in the second act, and it's like one of those moments where you're like, wait, why would Raish asks his men to remove all of the tools Batman could use to get away, and they like rip his shirt off. Like, what was he gonna do with his shirt? Was there tools in
Ra's al
there?
Ghul is also topless.
Raish takes his shirt off because Batman's already shirtless. So he's just like, well, let's just do this. We're going to do this.
And
do
he's
this
like,
right.
I'm just going to fence with you.
Yeah, exactly. And here's something interesting, too. Batman has the best, hugest, largest barrel chest ever. I mean,
It's definitely
it's just fantastic. It's perfect.
a manly chest.
It's gorgeous.
He's a big guy.
Ugh. Whole time, a real man. Batman's a real man. And Raish. They both have these great, beautiful fucking man
They've trained
chests.
for years.
And now Raish, of course, after losing the sword fight, he falls into the Lazarus pit, and then he chooses to let go of his sword, of his saber that's stuck in the side of the wall.
Yeah, pretty stupid.
Yeah, well, at this point, we have been established at the beginning of this episode by Ubu that, yes, if you're full of life and you go into a Lazarus pit, you will die. So as far as we know, he should be dead. And now we watch Talia see him, quote unquote, fall, and she cries about it.
And now they just walk into the desert, getting terrible sunburn.
Yeah, he is because he's topless still.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, with the fortress
Can you
behind
imagine?
them all on
Oof.
fire.
That's like an area that he's probably doesn't expose too much either.
Yeah, he's probably really white. Also, if we know from anything from like the Batman characters of live action, he should be all bruised up and scarred at this point. Like he should be like, it shouldn't be a sexy topless scene.
Wow. You got to get that huge sunrise. Make out scene. Oof. Oh.
So what Steve is making his boner noises to was the fact that Batman was kissing Talia as the sun was rising.
It was for that sunrise.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. So cinematic.
So cinematic. Yeah, absolutely.
For every reason, this reminded me so much of Indiana Jones.
This episode did?
Just this 2 episodes. Just the globe-trotting.
Yeah, it's the globetrotting. It's not very Bond-like in its globetrotting. It's much more, Jones-like for sure. And it's something that's really great about the 2 parts. Not only were they both just jam-packed with story, and both had just incredibly well-paced first acts that just had you coming back, but one of the things that really gave this a 5 out of 5 for me was the finale of part 1 was really quiet in a sense. It was like it was a quiet quote unquote ending, because it's like you have this moment where it's like big plot twists, explosive plot twists, But big plot twists are happening about like, oh, Raish is actually bad. Oh, he has like, you know, this whole team of bad guys at his command. Talia's there, and all he wants is, you know, Batman to marry him, and Batman chooses no, and then he kind of falls essentially down like he's having a heart attack, right, and dying, and then they have to put him into a Lazarus pit, and he explodes out, which then becomes, you know, the big moment, and then it ends on this cliffhanger. And this episode ends with literally an explosive ending, where like everything's going to shit.
Yeah.
And like this fortress is being destroyed and it's burning to the ground. It's, you know, it's razed to the ground.
I also felt that that sword fight was very Zorro, you know.
Very Zorro.
Yeah. Zorro.
Yeah, you said Zorro.
I mispronounce things all the time, I guess.
Me too. Talia and Roz.
But yeah, I totally, when they're doing that sword fight, it reminded me of Zorro, and just like that was definitely an influence on Batman, as we've discussed before.
Yeah, it is, and it didn't remind me of Zorro. I do know what you mean. It reminded me more of like just old pirate swashbuckling type of fucking movies.
I kind of felt like there was some sort of connection with the Lazarus pits and whatever toxins were in that made the Joker.
Why?
Because of how like insane it makes you, basically, and it transforms you. That's why like the Joker is all like strong and crazy.
So I don't think I've ever heard that.
He just needs somebody to slap him. That's just my theory.
That's all Joker needs is a nice slap.
It's just my personal theory.
So I think that's just completely like fan fiction right there. Of course, yeah. But it's really good fan fiction.
Personal theory.
And it feels like you should like do something with that or write something about that, because it's almost like, why has that not been tied in already? And maybe it has in the comics. I don't know, but I could easily see like, what if Ace Chemicals was essentially farming Lazarus pits. You know, they came across one Lazarus pit or 3 of them, and they've been farming them, and one's under Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they set up shop there.
Let's do it. Let's write our own story.
We'll do it after the end of this. We'll know exactly what to do, because we'll see what works and didn't.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
5 out of 5 for me.
5 out of 5 for me too, Steve.
Like you care.
Great bat stuff, Steve.
Yeah.
Cool Boy Nation. Tune in next week. Same
Double
Cool
great.
Bat time. Same Cool Bat channel. Cool Boy Bat Nation, be sure to let us bat know what you bat thought of The Demon's Quest Part 2, or what your favorite bat episode is by bat emailing us at batmanandbeyondcoolboys@gmail.com. New episodes come out every Tuesday. Also, please check out our other great Cool Boy Central content with the Cool Boys podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Patreon. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Cool Boys. Also, review us on iTunes. You can donate to us on Patreon. It only costs $1, and you will receive special access to content too hot to air. You can find the Cool Boys on Patreon at www.patreon.com/coolboyspodcast. Thank you for listening. Stay cool, Cool Boy Bat Nation. Until next time, it's Bizees from Bat Ballard.
And that's Bat Bizees from Bat Steve.
So cool.
Batman
and beyond.
Oh yeah.
Batman
and beyond.